From the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, this is Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. Sports Bash is also brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. And by Coach's Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. Check them out online at coachescollectiblesny.com. Stay tuned later in the show to find out about the Coach's Collectibles item of the day. And by the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Well, hi again, everyone. Happy Tuesday, and hope everybody back home on Long Island or wherever you are watching the show, you're doing well. I am here at the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, with a special remote show today. And this is a big week here in Cooperstown. This weekend is the induction ceremony for 2025, the class of 2025. And I guess locally, the interest is in CC Sabathia, the great Yankee ace from the 2009 World Series. He'll be inducted in the class of 2025. Billy Wagner, former Mets closer, is part of the class as well. Ichiro Suzuki rounds out the class of 2025. And the Ford Frick Award winner, and as I'm sitting here in the lobby of the Baseball Hall of Fame, and if you've ever been here before, and I know Tony Walker back home at the Governor's Comedy Club podcast, and by the way, as I usually do, 11 to 12:30, the Knock 'em Dead comedy show that precedes us on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But if you've ever been here before, and I know Tony has, when you walk in the Hall of Fame, and by the way, if you're watching it and you're in town, you want to stop by and say hello, you're welcome to do that, and people are filing in. It's a big week here, a lot of people coming in. But I mentioned the Ford Frick Award winner, and I'm looking up at a screen, and they're showing all of the inductees that are coming up this weekend. Tom Hamilton of the Cleveland Guardians, their great longtime play-by-play announcer, obviously going back to the Indian days. He gets the Ford Frick Award for broadcasting baseball, so he'll be going in as well on Sunday. But we're also going to be joined here on the show at around 1:30. We're going to be joined by the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Josh Rawitz is going to come down and join us. And before I even take another moment to go forward with anything, have to really thank everybody here at the Baseball Hall of Fame for their hospitality here today. Craig Muter, who runs communications for the Baseball Hall of Fame, thank you so much for all your help. Your help in setting up the interview with Josh, and we'll talk to Josh at around 1:30. But everybody here has been so nice here so far today, and it kind of brings us to why I'm here today. It's not just that I decided to hop in the car and drive 4 hours to come do the show here, although it is pretty cool to do a radio show, a TV show, podcast, whatever you might want to call it. It's pretty good to do it here, but I'm here because my kids are taking part in a baseball tournament right down the block at Doubleday Field. So once we found out we were coming up, for that, I said, let's see if we can put the wheels in motion. I know Tony is sick and tired of me sitting next to him a couple of days a week. So if I can get out of the studio, it helps him out. It helps me out as well. And this is a lot of fun here. It's an amazing place. It really is. And this is my third time here. And we walked around a little bit before. We're gonna walk around a little bit later on after they play their first game. We're gonna come back and stroll around a little bit too. But when you think about baseball, and I don't think it matters to what level your association with baseball is, this place is special. It's magical. And it doesn't matter if you live in a big city like we do, in New York and Long Island, where you've got two baseball teams, and the Yankees and the Mets. It doesn't matter if you live in a minor league baseball town, and even in the New York area, we're flooded with minor league teams. But if you live in Buffalo or you live in Nashville, wherever that might be, if you've ever picked up a baseball, if you've played Little League Baseball, if you played in high school, you played in college, if you're a girl who's played softball before, um, if you have ever just gone out in the backyard and had a catch with one of your parents, mom or dad, this place is special. And if you have any kind of love of the game of baseball, you have to come here and see the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. And you just walk through, and one of the very first things you see when you walk in the halls here, and again, it helps us out because of the induction ceremony coming up, but you see this whole display, and we're going to take a look at the video of that now, but you see this whole display of the inductees for 2025, and it's Ichiro, it's Billy Wagner and CC Sabathia and everybody that, you know, Dave Parker is on display. So everybody who makes up the class of 2025 is represented here, and then it's just an amazing walk through baseball history. And I say this for any Hall of Fame that you can go to, whether it's here in Cooperstown, whether you go to Canton and see the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which I've been to a million times, the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. The one Hall of Fame I've never been to, so I can't speak to how good or bad it might be. I don't think it's bad if it's a Hall of Fame, but I've never been to the Basketball Hall of Fame. But whatever Hall of Fame you wind up going to, it's magical and it's inspirational. And I use the word inspirational because a number of years ago, when David Baker was the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame, I remember before that, he was the commissioner of the Arena Football League, and that's how I met him for a number of years when he ran the Arena Football League. But my family and I were guests at the Pro Football Hall of Fame of David Baker. And when he took over that job, he called the Pro Football Hall of Fame the most inspirational place on earth. And he's right. But I think that also can apply to any of the Hall of Fames. You walk through these walls, and it is just an amazing, immersive, interactive walk through baseball history. And again, it doesn't matter what your association has been with the game, whether you play Little League or you're a fan of baseball, whether it's a major league team, a minor league team. And by the way, if you love baseball movies and you notice that I'm wearing my hat, the New York Knights hat from The Natural, there is a whole display here on baseball movies. And anything that you want to do. In fact, you know, you just take a walk through. Everybody's heard of the Bambino, Babe Ruth, and there's a whole segment if you walk through and you can see Babe Ruth memorabilia. It's unbelievable, but it doesn't matter your affiliation. Again, you could have played baseball. You might not have played baseball. You can go to 20 games a year. You can go to one game a year. If you love this game, this is the place to be. And it's not that it's not easy to get to. There's a point where you get here, and we drove up here from Long Island this morning. I call it, there's a point in about an hour and a half to go in the drive. Yeah, about an hour and a half to go in the drive. You get to what's called the cows and horses portion of the drive. And that's where it's nothing but, you know, side roads. You're off the highway. You know, you're passing one general store after another. But once you get here, it's magical. It's unbelievable when you get in. People are coming by and saying hello, and that's very, very nice of everybody. And look who just stopped by, my kids, to take some pictures and, you know, have a good time at Doubleday Field a little bit later on today, which is, you know, why we're here. It's just an amazing place. It really is. And there's so many things for baseball fans, you know, whether you're an older baseball fan or younger, the place is amazing. And again, we're right in the middle of the season. The Yankees and Mets are battling for first place in their respective divisions. And it's a chance, you know, when you come here to also remember some of the great moments in those teams' histories. And you walk through. And by the way, not to go off subject for a second, I love Mr. Met. Even though I'm a Yankees fan, I love Mr. Met. The San Diego Chicken is, to me, the best mascot in baseball history. And I know we don't really see him anymore, but as you see in the video, he's on display here at the Baseball Hall of Fame. I think I have to say it's the San Diego Chicken. It's Mr. Met, and I think the Philly Fanatic is right after that. I'm getting the Cincinnati. Nah, it's the Philly Fanatic. It's the Philly Fanatic. Um, so that there's something for everyone. And again, you see how big women's sports is getting here as well. And there's a whole display. If you watch the movie A League of Their Own, you know that during wartime there was a women's baseball league, and there was great scenes in the movie that were filmed here in Cooperstown as well. And there's a whole section devoted to women in baseball. Some other places that we didn't get to yet because we're going to go back to the hall a little bit later on after the boys play in their game later. But there's a whole section that, as I said, dedicated to movies that we haven't even gotten to. There's a kids area here. There's just so many things to do, and every now and then there's a place where you can stop off and see these little films and just get caught up in everything that is great about the game of baseball. It is just it's unbelievable. And if you're like me, a 58-year-old child, what's better than collecting baseball cards? I mean, that's the most unbelievable thing you can do, aside from going to games and playing the games, is collecting cards. And for me, and we're looking at a video of a little stroll through the baseball card section, and it's unbelievable. You can actually go up to a wall in the baseball card section. And I know my son Bradley did this before, and Jared took a look at it as well. But there are iconic baseball cards that are on display, and if you push a button, that card, like the spot where that card is, lights up. I think Bradley took one of the Honus Wagner, the famous Honus Wagner card, but there's a bunch of them. The Mickey Mantle looking card, which is a famous one. I know Jared was looking for Mets cards, and there's posters that you can pull out of baseball cards. It really is an amazing walk through baseball history. And I just, again, when you think about sports in general, any sport, there are certain things that give you goosebumps. Your team wins a championship. You're playing Little League and you get that big hit to bring in the game-winning run in a playoff game or a championship game. If you're a fan of the team and you're at the game where your team wins the World Series, and I've been lucky enough to be at Yankee Stadium twice when the Yankees have won the World Series. Any of those moments that give you goosebumps, you can multiply it by 5 million when you walk through the halls here at the Baseball Hall of Fame. And it's not even just within this building here. This is a baseball town. And to walk through the streets here, and it's the one main street, obviously, where you see everything, all the stores where you can buy baseball gear, all the stores where you can get baseball cards. The last time we were here, the kids got their own baseball bat personalized. There's a million of those places. Last time we stayed in a hotel that was actually, right literally feet from the Hall of Fame. It was called the Baseball Town Hotel. They were booked, so we couldn't get in there this week. But literally the front desk of the hotel is a store with baseball cards and memorabilia, and the hotel takes up floors 2, 3, and 4. We're literally right down the block in a really nice bed and breakfast. Again, less than 5 minutes. I don't even think it took us 5 minutes to walk to the hall from the hotel. And then, of course, entrenched in the middle of the street is one of the most iconic sports venues that I think you'd ever see on the planet. When you think of iconic venues, especially in baseball, you think of Yankee Stadium, you think of Dodger Stadium, you think of Wrigley Field and Fenway Park. But here in Cooperstown, and it's debatable, and I'm not, if Wiz was around, we'd probably be having an argument about it again. But there are different theories as to where baseball was invented. And there's a theory that it was invented here in Cooperstown. There's a theory that it happened in Cincinnati, whatever it might be. There's a wonderful place here in Cooperstown called Doubleday Field. It's a very old, charming ballpark. And they used to have a Hall of Fame game here every year where 2 major league teams came here and played an exhibition game. They stopped doing it. And the stadium fell into a little disrepair, and they're building it back up again, and they're trying to rejuvenate. They've done some, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in a little while when the boys play at Doubleday Field. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the renovations they've done. They still have an old timers game that they do here every year. And that's, I think it's on Thursday of this week. We're not going to be here for that, but it takes place on Thursday. I think it's tomorrow when you start to see some of the Hall of Famers coming in to gather for the induction ceremony on Sunday. But Doubleday Field is amazing. One of my favorite family photos we took the last time we were here, and it's the four of us sitting in the seats of, and I meant to send it to Tony, and I completely forgot about it. But there's a great picture of the four of us, me, my wife Cheryl, and Bradley and Jared, and we're sitting in the stands at Doubleday Field, and I'm the only guy wearing a Yankee shirt in the whole, you know the story. My wife and kids are Met fans, and I'm a Yankee fan. So it's kind of, we love showing that picture around because it's kind of, hey, how many times did people stop us that time on the street and say, hey, how did this happen? And it's a great, story to talk about. But this place is amazing. It really, really is. And I know I sound like a mouthpiece for the Baseball Hall of Fame, but it's just, you're overcome with the history of the game, the excitement of the game. It doesn't matter what team you root for. And that's the other great thing too. It really doesn't matter who you root for. And again, obviously there's a Pete Rose fan that just walked by us right now, and he should be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm telling you right now that he's eligible, and it's probably still going to take him. And the guy just agreed with me as well. He gave me the thumbs up. But here's what I think, and maybe we'll bring it up with Josh Rawitz when he joins us, the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame. And I just thought of it as the Pete Rose T-shirt was walking by. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I think they should put on his plaque that he was suspended from baseball for all those years for the gambling. I think on the field, what he did warrants him being within these halls. Look, I think you can make the same argument for the Roger Clemens of the world, the Barry Bonds of the world. Those guys, Alex Rodriguez belongs in the Baseball Hall of Fame. But I think you have to put, now here's the other thing too, with some of these guys. Now, David Ortiz got in. Some of these guys were never like actually on a list. Like if you were on a list, it needs to be shown on the plaque. But that's just what I think. The story here though this week is the class of 2025. And if you take a look now through, and we're going to show this video of the gallery where all the plaques are. And you will eventually, at the end of the video, get to the spot where they are going to have the plaques of this year's class of 2025, including Billy Wagner and Ichiro and Dave Parker, CC Sabathia, and who am I missing? Ichiro. I think I got all of them. If I missed one, I apologize. I said Billy Wagner. Ichiro, Billy Wagner, CC Sabathia. Oh, Dick Allen. I forgot about Dick Allen. That's the one I forgot about. My apologies to Dick Allen. So it's Dick Allen, Dave Parker, Ichiro, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner are your five. And the Ford Frick Award, Tom Hamilton, the longtime voice of the Cleveland Indians / Guardians. So, and it's just a cool place. Like again, I sound like a broken record, and you walk in and there's three amazing statues when you first walk in. There's Lou Gehrig, there's Jackie Robinson, and Roberto Clemente, just iconic figures in the world of baseball, and it's amazing to have them enshrined here in Cooperstown at the Baseball Hall of Fame. Thomas Boswell is getting awarded. The longtime writer is going to be honored here as well this coming Sunday. And you start to see people are filing in. The Hall of Fame is pretty, fairly busy here today. I think if you are in the area and you were thinking about coming, if you're within an earshot of us in Cooperstown, there's actually right now there's no line to get in, but there's a lot of people walking around the halls. People are filing in and out throughout the course of the day, and it's open till 7 o'clock. So you still have plenty of time to come check out the Hall of Fame here today. We're just really getting started here on Sports Bash. When we come back on the show, I'm going to be joined by the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame, Josh Rawitz. It's induction week in Cooperstown. We talked about CC Sabathia, Ichiro, Billy Wagner, Dave Parker, and Dick Allen all going in. We're going to talk to him about that when we come back with more Sports Bash live from the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Coming back right after this.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons
By the way,
Foundation
my wife
began
texted
with a
me. She
single
said that
heartfelt mission to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. Peter Schwartz with you live from the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, as we get set for Induction Day 2025. CC Sabathia, Dick Allen, CC Sabathia, Dick Allen, Billy Wagner, Dave Parker, and Ichiro making up the class of 2025. And the Ford Fricker winner is Tom Hamilton of the Cleveland Guardians, longtime broadcaster. He'll be honored as well. Thomas Boswell, the writer, is going to be honored on Sunday as well. In just a couple of moments, I'm going to be joined by the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame, Josh Rawitz. He's going to join us here. And we are, if you're in the area and watching, and I know we have a huge audience in Cooperstown, and we judge the metrics of the show every day, and we know we have a lot of big, and Tony Walker is very big in Cooperstown as well. I know he's done a lot of shows here. He's big. So if you're in town and you want to stop by, we're in the main lobby of the Baseball Hall of Fame, right where the entrance is to go get your tickets, and the store is on the right. And let me tell you something, fabulous store. I mean, again, the little kid in you, the adult in you, whatever it is, something for everybody in that Hall of Fame. But of course, and this goes for any Hall of Fame, any stadium that you visit, bring your credit card with you. But you get a good deal. There were some good deals in there. There were some good deals. There's no question about it. Before we're joined by Josh Rawitz, and we expect him to join us any moment, as we're just a couple minutes away from 1:30, and that's when he's going to come down and talk to us. Just a quick recap on the Mets and the Yankees from last night, and I'll start with the Yankees, obviously, because they're in a little bigger hole than the Mets are right now. This series against the Blue Jays was a chance for the Yankees to get back into the swing of things. And now they lose last night. They're down 4 games. The Mets had a great win last night, coming back and taking care of business against the Angels. And we're going to pause here because Josh Schwartz, the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame, is going to join us right here on Sports Bash. Josh, why don't you step right in? Thanks for stopping by. And again, Craig Muter, thank you so much for the great accommodations. Josh, thank you so much for joining us. And I know this is a huge week for everybody here in Cooperstown, and we're very appreciative of just a few minutes.
It's the least we can do. We love that you guys are here broadcasting from the lobby in the Hall of Fame, and it's an exciting week around here.
It's always an exciting week, and especially when it involves former Yankees and Mets too. And I only being a few hours away, anytime there's a Yankee or a Met that it gets inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, there's going to be a few more New Yorkers that make the trip up here. And we have that situation with CC Sabathia and Billy Wagner had some success for the Mets as well. Do you expect a lot of New Yorkers here this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's really unique about Induction Sunday is that we put it in the middle of the afternoon so people can just drive up from the city and be here, check out the induction, and then turn around and get back if they can't get a hotel room nearby. So I do think we're going to have a lot of Yankee fans, lots of Mets fans, but these 5 guys represented 16 different teams, more than half the league. So I think we're going to see a lot of colors, a lot of teams, and just a lot of people in general this weekend.
That's the cool thing about any induction ceremony. My family and I went to the football induction a couple of years ago to see Joe Klecko finally get in. And it's great because it's like a convention of baseball fans. Even just walking through the halls here, it's a convention. And I think that's what this place is all about, is that it's a place for a baseball fan. It doesn't matter if you're a major league fan, a minor league fan, there's something for everybody here.
Yeah, I think one thing most people don't realize is that we're not run by MLB. We're actually the National Baseball Hall of Fame. So we have exhibits here on women in baseball. We have exhibits. We just opened a brand new one on baseball between the U.S. and Japan, which is plenty of stuff outside of MLB. On the history of black baseball. There's so many cool things, minor leagues and amateur leagues. There's all sorts of stuff here. So really, if you have any care about the game, or even frankly, American history, if you just like history but don't love baseball, this place it's just a must-see visit.
And I talked about this on the open, and as you can tell by my hat, The Natural is my favorite movie. And there's a great spot in here where you guys document all the great baseball movies. And every time we're here, that is one of the exhibits that it fills up. It's very, very hard to walk through because so many people are entrenched by baseball movies.
Yeah, it's funny for some of your younger listeners, they might not even remember what a movie theater is, but we used to have one here on Main Street. You still see the marquee and our exhibit there. I mean, so many great baseball movies. Field of Dreams and The Natural, obviously, but 8 Men Out. And
I still cry at the end of Field of Dreams. How do you not cry?
I mean, every time in Major League, I mean, I think I can cite Major League start to finish, or The Sandlot. I mean, there's so many great films, and actually right around the corner from that exhibit, we just opened up something on the Savannah Bananas. So I mean, there really is something for every kind of fan.
That's amazing because like the Savannah Bananas, they've become like this iconic thing, and I could probably, through connections, get tickets for Yankee games, Met games, Jet games, Giant games. I can get tickets for the Super Bowl. I can get tickets for the World Series. I cannot, Josh, and my kids are dying to go because they're going to be at Yankee Stadium in September. It is impossible to get tickets for that. It's amazing.
They have like a 1 million person waiting list, which is hard to believe. But I think we were lucky. We got on at the beginning, at the end of the 23 season, we had them at Doubleday Field, which only holds like 7,000 people. And there were people hanging from the rafters, peeking in from the backyards of people's homes. I mean, it's pretty special to have them playing here. And then they came over and spent time with the fans. And we opened an exhibit with a lot of their artifacts. And kudos to them for tapping into a totally different segment of the baseball population. And what they're doing is really pretty cool.
We're talking to Josh Schwartz. He's the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame. And that's where we are broadcasting from today. You mentioned Doubleday Field. And that's not that I don't like coming here. I do. But the reason why we're here today is my kids are playing in a baseball tournament today and tomorrow at Doubleday Field. And we visited there a couple of times before. There wasn't any games going on. We would just sit in the stands. But I know there's been some renovations that have taken place to the ballpark. And when you start to see some of these special games going on now, whether it's the Field of Dreams or at Rickwood Field, and I know some of the baseball broadcasters on network TV have talked about this as well. There seems to be this growing push for Doubleday Field to host one of those games. From your perspective as the president of the Hall of Fame, how cool do you think it would be if you brought two major league teams for a regular season game right down the block from here?
It would be amazing. I mean, honestly, it would be one of the greatest things you could ever do for the game of baseball. I think our unique challenge in this town, different than say a cornfield in Iowa, is that a cornfield in Iowa has endless space and you can just build a clubhouse or build a kitchen or expand the outfield walls. And the unique thing here is that we have people's houses in the outfield. So every ball that goes over the fence hits somebody's house. And obviously major league locker rooms and umpires rooms and all that stuff has to happen. So man, that would be incredible. I think it'd be a win for everybody. And who knows? We'll have to see. Hopefully your son hits one out there today, and then we'll see where we go from there.
We'll see. I know they're going to make me go run out beyond the fence and go retrieve the baseball if that happens. How have you been enjoying this job? You've been on the job now for a few years, and Jeff Idelson, who used to be the Yankees PR director, I go back with him a long time, and he did a great job, and your predecessor as well. How's this been for you running the Baseball Hall of Fame? Is this the dream job for you?
It's been awesome. I'm almost on 4 years now, and I'd say it's a dream job, but I never even dreamt this big. I mean, who would ever imagine that you'd be in a role like this, live in a town like this? But it's such a special place. The staff is incredible. They love coming in here, and most people don't get to work at a place where every day you're basically making memories for people that last the rest of their life. They wait a lifetime to come here. And then they come and we see people cry. I mean, you're watching right now, just generations of fans, grandparents, parents, kids coming through here. We get to do that every single day. So there's none of us here that take that for granted. I think we're very lucky, and my family loves it here. We're here for the long haul. This place is really special.
I mentioned at the beginning, and when you talk about the generations, the place is really magical and it's inspirational because it doesn't really matter who you root for, what level of baseball you're involved in. There is something for everyone here, and you literally get goosebumps walking through the place, and you're here every day. So I can't imagine what that feeling is like for you, because when you're just a fan, you're here, you visit once a year, once every couple of years. It's amazing to walk through these halls.
Yeah, and I think what's hard to really describe to people is that people literally wait all their life to come here, and then when they get here, it somehow still lives up to expectations. And most places that you've built up in your head or you put on a bucket list, when you finally go, it doesn't necessarily always live up. Sometimes you built it up too much, but we find that people absolutely, I mean, every single day, people are fulfilling their dreams in this building. And man, I think we're very lucky. We had a guy here last year who basically came here just as he was on his final week of life, because he had always wanted to get to Cooperstown before he passed away. And that just doesn't, I mean, to be able to work in a place like that is not something that you see very often.
No, it's tremendous, and it's a legendary place. It's iconic, and really, as I mentioned at the top, if you ever have the chance to get here, you have to. When we were driving in this morning, I don't know if we made the wrong turn, and I don't think this was intended, but we wound up. So people who come to the induction ceremony, it's not here. It's at the Clark Sports Center, which is a few blocks away from here. And I don't know if it was the Waze that took us that way or we made the wrong turn. But we drove past the Clark Sports Center. We saw them setting up the stage and everything like that. And I can only imagine what kind of undertaking that is for your staff, everybody here in town, to pitch in and get that location ready for Sunday.
Yeah, you just nailed it. I mean, we are a small staff, maybe 100 full-time people, and the village is only 1,600 people. So you're talking about 20, 30, 40 times the number of people that live here are going to be here for that weekend. So everybody in town pitches in. I mean, we like our librarian doubles as the transportation coordinator, and the people in the mailroom are doing hospitality, and the mayor is out helping. Everybody's helping everybody, and that's it's crazy to see it happen. But it's this well-oiled machine that's been going on for 86 years, since the very first one was right out in the front steps here, and then eventually moved over to Cooper Park, and now we're in a place that can hold way more fans. And yeah, you didn't take the wrong way. That is the way actually that it's technically the shortest way. You get to see a lot of the back roads, and then you end up passing the Clark Sports Center. And we're very lucky that the Clark Sports Center is from my boss, our chairman of the board, Jane Forbes Clark. Her grandfather started the Hall of Fame, but the Clark Sports Center is like any big city YMCA or JCC. That what town of 1,600 has that, or has 20 restaurants, or the Otasaga Hotel? This town is just, it's got something for everybody, and the #2 public golf course in America. So,
oh, my kids are going to like that, because last year they started taking up golf, and they become like golf aficionados. So now that they heard that, the next trip to Cooperstown is going to have to include a round of golf there.
Yeah, Leatherstocking is literally right around the corner from here. Absolutely amazing course right along the lake, and highly recommend for anybody that likes to play golf.
Once Sunday comes and goes, when do you now flip the switch to start now? Because you don't know who's going to get in the Hall of Fame next year yet. So you don't know which, community is going to send the most fans. But at what point for you and your staff do you say, you take a breath and say, wow, that was a great weekend. It was awesome to see those guys go in the Hall of Fame. And at what point do you start flipping the switch that, okay, now we got to get ready for next year?
It's pretty crazy, but even as early as the week after, we're writing down notes of what went right, what went wrong, just debriefing within the first week because you don't want to forget. And you're kind of automatic. You're pretty quickly turning the page to the next year. We do want to make sure we celebrate it. We try to celebrate our victories and make sure that the staff knows that we appreciate how hard they work to put that on. But yeah, basically by, I don't know, with most people in the hall take their vacations in August, and then basically end of August, early September, we're already full speed ahead planning for next year.
Are you already starting to think about what that class of 2026 might start to look like?
Yeah, it's really, like you said, it's really hard to know, not just the baseball writers who get new people on the ballot every year, but the era committee. This year, we're going to be looking at all the players, or 8 players who are post 1980. So it's going to be some names that all your listeners know and love, and 16 people vote. And if 12 of them get voted for, they're in the Hall of Fame, but you just never know what's going to happen in that room.
Speaking of voters, and this has been a great conversation so far, I have to ask the question because it's on everybody's mind. Not long ago, Pete Rose was reinstated. I know it's not the Hall of Fame that makes that decision. The writers have to put him in, but he is now eligible to be elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Do you have any standing on that as to where you feel? Because when you look at it on the field, he's a Baseball Hall of Famer. You put aside everything else that happened, but on the field, he's a Baseball Hall of Famer. Do you have an opinion on Pete Rose as to whether or not he should be within these halls as a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame?
It's not my place to have an opinion on that, but ultimately, just to kind of help fans understand exactly what will happen, he'll actually wind up in 2 years eligible for the era committee, the pre-1980 group. Up until this point, as somebody who was on the permanently ineligible list, he couldn't actually get on that ballot. And so when the commissioner removed him from that list, or removed everybody who passed away, if they passed away on the list, they're no longer on there, it essentially makes him eligible. From our standpoint, we really don't weigh in. We don't have opinions on that. We do, of course, have the character clause that we ask the voters to take into account, character and integrity and sportsmanship. But we don't tell them what that means. We leave that up to the voters to decide. And in this case, it'll be a room of 16, combination of Hall of Famers and legendary executives and historians. And ultimately, anybody they give 12 votes to, we will put their plaque on the wall. And I should say, for people that love Pete Rose or anybody else who they love who isn't in the Hall of Fame, they're all throughout the museum. Pete has artifacts on the second and third floor. So do many other players from the PED era. And I think it's a little bit of a misbelief that they're not here in the hall. They're part of baseball history every day.
Now, I'm going to give this a whirl here. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but it worked with the Pro Football Hall of Fame a number of years ago. My family and I visited David Baker, who was the president of the Hall of Fame at the time. I was friends of his going back to our days in the Arena Football League. So we go up to his office and he meets my family and everything. And I said, listen, I got a bone to pick with you. Why isn't Joe Klecko in the Hall of Fame? And as a Jet fan, I was waiting years and years and years and years for Joe Klecko to get in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I think it was more Gary Myers from the New York. Gary Myers from the New York Daily News had a lot to do with it, but Joe Klecko finally got in. Thurman Munson is my favorite player of all time. I cried the day that he died in the plane crash. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. Maybe I'm biased about it, but I know you can't have an opinion on it, but I had to at least do the right thing and bring it up. But what were your memories of Thurman? And I mean, there's artifacts of his here at the Hall of Fame. I think he'd make a great member of the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think one of the unique things about the hall, our particular hall, is everybody has strong opinions. They all have their favorite players. And yes, are we clouded by our favorite players wanting to get in? Of course, but I don't think anybody could argue that he's one of the top 1, 2, 3% that's ever played the game of baseball. Incredible career. I was a little bit too young. He passed right. I was alive, but I did not get to really watch him play. But the reality is, this hall is the hardest hall really to get into. It really is only the top 1%. And so anybody who's in that conversation has an argument that they're one of the top 2 or 3 of all time. And in many of the halls of fame around the country, 2, 3, 4% get in. So it's very hard to know what happens when you get 16 minds into a room and they debate it. But certainly Thurman Munson had an incredible career, and I know lots of Yankee fans whose favorite he was.
I would ask for some VIP tickets if he ever gets in. I'm going to call you for that.
Fair.
Let me close with this. What's the rest of the week like for you? When do the Hall of Famers start, coming into town? The existing Hall of Famers, the ones who are going to be inducted on Sunday. What's the rest of the week look like for you and your staff?
It's kind of programmed almost every minute. So starting tomorrow really is when the 55 living Hall of Famers will start to come in. Some on Wednesday, some on Thursday, some on Friday. On Thursday night, we've got a private event for them that kind of kicks off the weekend to show them our new exhibit, the Yaku Baseball Trans-Pacific Exchange of the Game. So that's Thursday night. And then Friday, a lot of them will come and take private tours of the hall. A lot of them love to golf. We have a private party for them on Friday night. Saturday, they've got
sounds like a lot of fun.
It's amazing. Honestly, like for anybody that can get up here, the parade on Saturday night that goes down Main Street and literally walks into the area that we're sitting right now. You get all these guys. I mean, just it's 10,000, 20,000 people lining Main Street. And so people think it's just Sunday's induction, but it's 4 days worth of events. And then on Monday, we close it out. Fans can come and watch these guys talk about what their weekend was like at Doubleday Field. So the field where your son's going to play this afternoon, we'll have 3 Hall of Famers sitting on the stage there talking about their weekend. And I guess less than a week from now, we'll be all done.
Josh, thank you so much for spending some time with us, and best of luck the rest of this week with the induction ceremonies. This place is great. We can't wait to come back again and experience this as a family again. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you letting me talk to you guys.
Josh Schwartz, the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Still more to come when we come back live from Cooperstown on Sports Bash.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow, and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Check with them over there.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Hi.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com, live at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. I'm Peter Schwartz, 465-3 3990, 516-465-3990 is the number to call. And we thank Josh Schwartz, the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame, for spending some time with us here on the program. And again, great hospitality the entire day by everybody here in Cooperstown. Still some business to take care of. Let's do the ticketbash.com sporting event calendar, which I think I neglected to put on the script, so Tony is going to yell at me. So let's do that. It's time for your sporting event calendar, brought to you by ticketbash.com. Today, the 22nd, Angels playing the Mets at Citi Field, as well as tomorrow, the 23rd. Also tonight, and I don't think Caitlin Clark is going to suit up. I think she's still injured, but the Liberty hosting Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever at the Barclays Center on the 25th. That's on Friday. Yankees start a 3-game series with the Phillies at Yankee Stadium, also playing on the 26th and the 27th. You can grab tickets to all these events and more at ticketbash.com. They've got no service fees and the best prices around. Let us now take a look at the Coaches Collectibles item of the week, and we thank Dom over at Coaches Collectibles for Coaches Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. So check them out online again, coachescollectiblesny.com. I think as fast as Tony bought that Mookie Wilson ball a few weeks back, I think I might get on the horn and order that CC Sabathia ball. By the way, and that's the great thing too here with the Hall of Fame week, is that depending on, if you're a Yankee fan, you want CC Sabathia stuff in the store, a whole display of CC Sabathia stuff for sale. If you want Ichiro stuff, there's a whole set up for that as well, and Billy Wagner. So they definitely take care of you if you're a fan of any of those teams or just a baseball fan in general, to get some great gear here at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Let me just check on time. Oh, we got plenty of time. Plenty of time for more fun here at the Baseball Hall of Fame. Let's get into this now, because I know I want to bring Tony Walker in on this, because we usually do it with the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day regardless. But we're going to do it especially for this, because I think we're both going to have a very strong opinion on it. It is time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a poll question every Tuesday and Thursday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. Which former New York baseball icon should be into the Baseball Hall of Fame? And I give you 4 choices. And I just talked about one of them with Josh Schwartz, the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Thurman Munson of the Yankees. Another former Yankee captain, Don Mattingly. Former Met first baseman, Keith Hernandez. And I say other, comment below. And again, I have to give this, rule. If you say other, that means you actually have to comment below. Don't just click other, because then I don't know who you're voting for. But Thurman Munson, Don Mattingly, Keith Hernandez, or other. And I know, Tony, we were talking about this off the air before the show came on. You know my feelings about Thurman Munson. I just talked about it with Josh Schwartz from the Baseball Hall of Fame. I want Thurman Munson in the Hall of Fame, but I know you have another choice on that list.
Peter, I'll be honest with you. I would have no problem with Thurman Munson. Who doesn't love Thurman Munson? But so I wouldn't argue with that at all. But of course, yes, I do feel Hernandez. Out of these 3, I do feel Hernandez, numbers wise and as a player, I do feel he's the one out of those 3.
Here's what I would like to do, Tony. I would like to get Munson in first. And then how cool would it be if Mattingly and Hernandez went in at the same time? Because if you remember, we were spoiled here in New York for a number of years there with, I think, the 2 best defensive first basemen. You might be able to make the argument ever. I mean, that might be biased a little bit towards the New Yorkers, but were there any better defensive first basemen during that era than Mattingly and Hernandez? And we had them both in New York at the same time.
One of them got a ring, though.
One did get a ring. One got an MVP and a batting title too.
And a broken back or something like that. But
yeah. It pains to say that. well, obviously both have their numbers retired by their respective teams.
True.
But yes, I think I think you can make the argument for all three
Absolutely.
to be in the Hall of Fame. Well, we'll see what the the old era committee decides on Munson. I hope he finally gets in. I think that would be wonderful. But thank you for your contribution on that, Tony. It has been a spectacular morning into afternoon here in Cooperstown, here at the Baseball Hall of Fame. And we walked through it before. There's so many cool things to see. I think Josh brought this up. Josh Rawitz, the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame, brought up a great new exhibit on Japanese baseball, the relationship between the United States and Japan when it comes to baseball. There's a great display on Ichiro. There's a big thing on why can't I think of the Shohei Ohtani? I try to forget about him after the World Series last year. But there's a whole thing on Shohei Ohtani now. And they're in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And some things remain the same. There's going to be things here at the Hall that never change, and I'm glad that they don't. You can always see the Hank Aaron exhibit is magnificent here. For me, there's two cool things as a Yankee fan. One is there's a holy cow here because of Phil Rizzuto. There's also, and I think Tony is, like myself, an old-time baseball fan, would appreciate this. From the original Yankee Stadium, there's a ticket booth. Like if you were outside Yankee Stadium in the old days, they had these like, not a kiosk, it was like a big booth. And when they renovated Yankee Stadium, one of those ticket booths, the old one from the old stadium, came here to Cooperstown. And that's one of the things I really like to look at when I come here to see that, because it's amazing, because now like nobody gets tickets at a ticket booth anymore. Now you get everything online, but there used to be, and even with not the new stadium, but Yankee Stadium 2.0, which was the renovated original stadium, they had those windows that you would go up to and get the tickets. But in this case, they were these standalone ticket booths that they had at the old Yankee Stadium, and you would go up and there would be some schmo there behind the window, and you would say, yeah, give me your two best for today, and you'd get them. And they have one of those booths here, and just so many really cool things to see. Educational, there's films and movies, a wonderful place. And again, just before I say goodbye, again, just to wrap up, congratulations to the 2025 class for the Baseball Hall of Fame: CC Sabathia, Billy Wagner, Dick Allen, Ichiro, and Dave Parker, all going into the Hall of Fame on Sunday. And that's going to be a wonderful day. And they're already getting ready for it here at Cooperstown, with thousands and thousands of people starting to descend here on this small, beautiful, small town here in upstate New York. It's just a great place that I can't stress enough. If you're a baseball fan of any kind, you have to come see the Baseball Hall of Fame. Speaking of Halls of Fame, that takes us to what's coming up on this Thursday's show. Back home on Long Island, and I'll be back reunited with Tony. He will have missed me by then. So I'll be back in studio on Thursday. We'll have the Wiz will be there to play Stump the Wiz. So don't forget to get your questions into Sports Bash Media, X, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you Stump the Wiz, we'll have a great prize for you on Thursday's show. But speaking of Hall of Fames, recently, former Islanders longtime legendary TV voice Jiggs McDonald was inducted into the New York Hockey Hall of Fame. How he's not in the Islanders Hall of Fame yet, I have no idea. We're going to talk about that with Jiggs. Always great to talk to him. He's been a frequent guest on the program and other podcasts that I've done. Jiggs McDonald is going to join us on the show on Thursday. I did talk about Stump the Wiz, which is coming up on Thursday. Don't forget to get those questions in. Out here, I forgot about what the prize was. Again, thanks to our friends at Coaches Collectibles. If you send in a question, we use it. You Stump the Wiz, you'll get a Darryl Strawberry autographed 8x10 photo, courtesy of our friends at Coaches Collectibles. And let me close again by just saying this. Special thanks to everyone here at the National Baseball Hall of Fame, including Director of Communications Craig Muter, the President Josh Rawitz, who joined me here on the show, everybody here at the Hall of Fame, the entire staff. Wonderful job here today. Thank you so much for the great hospitality. back home on Long Island. Thanks to Tony Walker and everyone at Governor's Comedy Club. Thanks to Connor Kalb and Griffin Shapiro for their great work on social media. Sports Bash is presented by ticketbash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage and by the Marty Lyons Foundation. Thanks to everyone for watching and listening. We're back home on Long Island Thursday at Governor's Comedy Club for another edition of Sports Bash at 1 o'clock, and there's no better way to leave you here on the show than with Terry Cashman's Talking Baseball from Cooperstown. Have a great day, everybody.